Thank you for staying. Now first, a team from the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, what you know as NAIMOS, on Wednesday carried out a major raid on illegal mining sites at the Cocobod Demonstration Farm, Section E, at Bonso in the Eastern Region. The task force found 8 excavators and 12 illegal miners actively operating on the site. The demonstration farm had earlier been visited twice by NAIMOS in efforts to stop the illegal miners from destroying the research facility. However, the miners returned to the same location barely a week after the previous interventions. The illegal miners were arrested and handed over to the Ghana Police Service for further investigation and prosecution. The excavators were also seized and have since been conveyed to the NAIMOS equipment base in Accra. We shall be joined a bit later by a spokesperson for NAIMOS as well and the spokesperson for the ministry to get more on that. But stay with us as we bring you other. Well, he is with us now. That must be Pakwesi. How are you? Pakwesi Shandam speaks for the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources. Pakwesi, give me an update on this particular story. We say that it happened on Wednesday.
Yes, good morning, MFA. So, indeed, it did happen. It was one of the
Pakwesi, unfortunately, the network is not too clear. If you can hear me, we'll try and re-establish contact with you to get more details on this. But maybe try again. Can you hear me?
On phone again while I am on the Zoom, and that's what is interfering with the.
We're sorry for that, but we shall establish contact one way or the other. But now we can hear you, though. Please provide the information. Well, I'll try and reconnect with Pakwesi Shandam later in the bulletin for that details. But away from the drivers and passengers using the badly deteriorated Tamale Wale Bolgatanga Highway are expressing growing fear after police officers were withdrawn from one of the busiest transport corridors in the northern sector. The withdrawal, reportedly ordered by the Inspector General of Police, follows intelligence suggesting possible imminent attacks on officers stationed at checkpoints along the route. Road users warn that the already poor condition of the highway, combined with the absence of police presence, could embolden highway robbers and place lives at serious risk. Our correspondent Ilyasu Tanko reports.
The Wale Bolgatanga section of the National Road 10 is one of the most strategic transport corridors in northern Ghana. It links the northern, northeast and upper east regions and serves as a vital route for the movement of people, foodstuff, fuel and commercial goods to and from neighboring countries, particularly Burkina Faso and Togo. Despite carrying a high volume of traffic, the highway has suffered years of neglect and has deteriorated to dangerous levels. It is riddled with potholes, contributing to frequent accidents and creating opportunities for robbery attacks. Vehicle breakdowns are also common due to the poor state of the road. As part of measures to secure the highway against robbery and other road offenses, the Ghana Police Service previously increased the number of checkpoints and deploy additional personnel. These measures led to a significant reduction in attacks and accidents along the route. However, for the first time in the history of this busy transport corridor, a violent incident against the police has resulted in the complete closure of nearly 20 checkpoints and the withdrawal of all police personnel along the highway. The police pullout was reportedly ordered by the Inspector General of Police following the fatal attack on a police officer on December 28 by armed men at a checkpoint between Karminga in the northeast region and Pualugu in the upper east region. The police say they also received intelligence pointing to further imminent attacks on officers. Here is the Wale District Police Commander, ASP Seth Ejekum, confirming the IGP's directive.
We will be there upon the recommendations from the regional commander, by extension IGP. It is from IGP's directives
Please, is it related to the incident that occurred where an officer was shot dead?
It is in relation to the Wulugu Kariminga attack.
The security withdrawal has left one of the busiest highways in northern Ghana unguarded, with drivers and passengers expressing fears of a possible surge in robbery attacks and road crashes. At the Bolga station in Tamale, a commercial driver who has plied the route for years described the situation as frightening.
It's very bad. The way the road is, no police on the road. If you are traveling in the night time, it's very risky for we the drivers. Sometimes if it is 6 o'clock, you can't move your car again. So we are pleading on the police to come back and be on the road because it's very risky. Nobody can travel in the night time again. Yesterday like this, they robbed about 3 cars. Why? They should come and help us.
Another driver, Jalil Bashiru, says he has been compelled to reduce his operational hours due to the absence of police officers. At the Wale Wale lorry station, driver Kwame Nkrumah appealed for the immediate return of law enforcement officers.
To be honest, if the police are back, we all will be very graceful because at times if they are there, I can move for 10 o'clock or even 11 o'clock. If they know that police are standing within this, moving by 24 kilometers away, maybe they will also like to come back out from that very place again.
Passengers boarding buses and minibuses share similar concerns. Fuseni Muslim, a student traveling from Tamale to Wale Wale, said the news has made his journey stressful. Road users fear the development could embolden highway robberies, especially along isolated stretches between Wale Wale and Bolgatanga, where visibility is poor and emergency response times are slow. Many drivers are calling on authorities to urgently review the decision or introduce alternative security measures, including mobile patrols or military support to protect lives and property. Until then, drivers and passengers say they are forced to rely on prayers and cautious travel along a highway they now describe as poor, dangerous, and unguarded. From Wale Wale, Elias Sotanko reporting for JoyNews.
I'll take you back to our earlier story where NAIMOS has arrested 12 illegal miners. On that, Pakwesi Shandov, I hope that the network is quite clear this time around. So this raid was conducted on Wednesday. How successful was it?
Indeed, it was a very fruitful exercise, one that adds to the many successes of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. For this particular place, this is not the first time NAIMOS is being there. NAIMOS has been there twice, but it appears, like I've always been saying, that like we've been communicating and putting across, the illegal miners seem to have a very obstinate and recalcitrant posture. That is to say, you flash them out today, the next day they gather momentum and then they return. And that justifies why effective immediately within the first quarter of this year, NAIMOS is now going to deploy 24/7 uninterrupted surveillance across all of these flashpoints, because we cannot be having a situation where an operation is carried in area A and then the next day the illegal miners have gotten back there. For this particular place, for example, today, this recent operation would mark perhaps the third of such an exercise in that particular enclave. And so it tells you clearly that the illegal miners do not just stop. You arrest them today, the next day they are back on and all of that. And so the permanent deployment is the way to go. And as I have been indicating, the clearance for that has been given, and therefore it will be implemented any moment from now.
What's with the 12 persons who were arrested?
Those are 12 persons who have been arrested. They've all been handed over to the police. The next thing that is going to happen is that they're going to assist with investigations, and then onward prosecutions would begin in that regard.
They were arrested on Wednesday. They are 48 hours. Are they in custody?
Yes, currently all of them are in custody. So we all know that, of course, no suspect can be detained within the allowable 48-hour duration. And so even if after the 48 hours, even if it becomes necessary for them to be allowed to let go, it does not in any way mean that the matter is subsequently dead. What will happen is that they would, as has always been with all suspects, they will be reporting to the appropriate police station and be assisting with investigations until the prosecution is finally over.
All right, Pakusti, thank you so much for the update. Right away from that, the Accra Mayor, Michael Akyea, has given traders on the pavement in the Central Business District until the end of January to vacate the pavement or risk eviction. Traders who were removed during last year's decongestion exercise have since returned, worsening congestion and posing safety risk. There's more in the following report by Michelle Latte.
Unauthorized street trading by vendors has not only become a nuisance, but also an age-old albatross that city authorities continue to struggle to tackle. When Accra Mayor Michael Akyea was sworn into office, one of the priority areas he sought to address was illegal trading on pavements. Despite last year's decongestion exercise, which aimed to dissuade traders from peddling their wares on pavements, the streets are now far more congested than they were during the crackdown. Speaking to the media after a sword-cutting ceremony, the mayor warned that traders who fail to vacate the pavements by the January 30 deadline will face sanction.
And the last thing I want to say is that I'm giving the traders in Accra up to the end of January. Please, they should move back to the normal red line so that we all live in peace. By the end of January, I am going to clear the streets. This time I'm not putting human face in it because I've been talking to people, I've been walking to them for some time now.
The ceremony also marked the start of rehabilitation works at the Makola Government Clinic, one of the 6 key development projects by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. According to the Accra Mayor, the initiative reflects government's commitment to improving healthcare delivery, with plans also announced to expand and renovate the Makola market.
Since now, African renovation go down. Your Excellency John Dramani.
Since this facility was built, it has never been renovated. After my appointment by the President, I made a commitment to renovate it. And today we are here to cut sod for the project. Once this is completed, we will move on to the market. After finishing work at the Salaga market, we will return here to expand the market. Our goal is to relocate all traders operating on the streets into the market.
Market women at Makola welcomed the announcement, expressing optimism about improved healthcare services and better trading conditions.
We thank the mayor for taking the initiative to renovate the clinic. This is exactly what they should be doing. It makes us proud of the choice we made in voting. When the renovation is completed, they must make sure that the clinic has enough medical supplies. He has done so much, and we are truly grateful for his efforts in helping us.
The upgraded Makola Government Clinic is expected to improve healthcare access for residents and traders in the Central Business District. For JoyNews, Michelle Latte.
Now let's stay on this a bit longer and engage the Accra Mayor himself, Michael Akyea. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. So you've done this exercise before. First of all, tell me what has been the greatest challenge. Why do the traders keep coming back, even after your directive?
Thank you very much, my sister. It's not as if there's a challenge, but you see, this is the first time for more than 8 years that we are doing this. So you need to do step by step. So the first phase was to put so much human face in it. But the second phase is going to be a bit hard because I have now trying to talk to them, advise them, and I've engaged them enough for them to understand why they cannot be on the streets. But I'm not clearing everybody to go into the market because the space in the market are not much. We are now trying to build the Salaga market I'm now trying to renovate some of the market for us to have more space in the market. So I brought this red line which was working everywhere. So they will go back to their lines, and some of them who have shops will go back to their shops. Okay, so it's not your expectation that they would leave the pavement or where you're telling them to leave completely, because of course there are no stores for all of them, but the red line is supposed to draw a boundary for them. Sure, madam. Traders in Kaneshie Market cite a particular or a peculiar challenge. They say that the prices of goods are quite high and there's low sales. And so people like to shop from the pedestrian sellers. They like to buy from these vendors instead. This is why they also have moved to that part of the street. What would you say to them? Okay, madam. Thank you very much. You see, what you are saying is very true. You go inside there, some of the places are very hot. Yesterday, they were asking me if I can fix fan for them. Secondly, if you are coming to buy and you walk into a room and the whole place is hot, you prefer buying outside. So the people who have shops inside the market have moved to the roadside. But I'm working on something that we can fix fans for them, put a lot of lights in there, then we'll move them back into the market so that everybody will buy from the market. From experience, would you say that traders just have an appetite for setting up their trades outside of the market because it's been a tradition, it's been a culture, it works for them? It's just they will resist your directive. Do you foresee that? No, I don't foresee that. You see, if you want to do something, you have to engage the person. I believe in engagement. If you dialogue, you talk to the person, you make the person understand why you want to do this. I met the market queen mothers yesterday, and they are all in support of what I'm coming to do. So during the week, I'm sure we are going to call them to the assembly. We are going to call, we are going to start from Ukanshi. We'll call them and talk to them. We'll call the Cocobod people and talk to them. We'll call up and talk to them. We will ask the drivers to it. And you know, I'm working with we are joint assembly working together. So we are going to put that together. Even on Monday, I'm going to railway to meet the traders. So it's something that we are having engagement. Before, don't do that. Just come and make announcements in the car and start moving them. No, that's respect the people who are on the street. It's not their fault that they are on the street. It's not by chance that you don't have money, rent shop. But if you make them understand that, okay, I don't want you to come on the street, but sell this and also make money and take off your family. Okay. I think they will listen to you. So if I hear you, the January 31 directive will yield results, very potent results, very tangible results. We'll see. Very. Okay. Tomorrow is National Sanitation Day. What's your message for Ghanaians? I beg them. They should come out and let's clean and so that they can open their shops. All right. Thank you so much. That's quite straightforward. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. Well, let's stay on this quite a bit long because from a local governance perspective, we've been wondering why do decongestion exercises, particularly in Accra, fail to achieve lasting results, and what structural gaps are there that need to be addressed and quite even sustained? Dr. Richard Fiadomo is a local governance expert and joining us for his thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me, Doug. Straightforward question. We've seen these type of exercises done many times in Accra. In fact, the mayor says that because there has been a stop to it for a long time, that's why the traders do not understand and adhere to the directives. But we can quite dare say that these directives have failed woefully. What has been the cause of the failure so far?
Yeah, thank you very much, and greetings to all your cherished viewers. The truth of the matter is that decongestion exercises have become political shadow boxing. Anytime a new mayor or chief executive comes into office, he or she wants to announce his or her presence to the people by doing a decongestion exercise. After the decongestion exercise is done, everybody, including the mayors, they go to sleep. This is the very same mayor who did a decongestion exercise immediately he came to office about 6-7 months ago. A red line was created and it was expected that nobody should cross the red line. The question we ask ourselves is, why has the red line been crossed? Is the assembly not having city guards who go to the market on a daily basis to ensure that people comply and do not go beyond the red line? So for me, what I've come to see is that the assemblies are beginning to use decongestion exercise as an avenue for corruption. Because if you go to see the amount of money they spend on these so-called decongestion exercises, and they do not do anything to make sure that these people do not come back to the street, and 6 months down the line, they allow the people to come back to the same venue again, and then they are going to use ×2 of what they even used 6 months ago, then there is an incentive for the assemblies for allowing our public areas to be congested. And then later they shadow box and then say they are doing decongestion exercise and push a lot of monies into these exercises. So for me, I think that there is a motivation why these things are going on. It is because some people are having some financial benefit anytime a decongestion exercise is done. If not, from where I sit, I do not see why you spend public resources, get people out of the street. You do not take any actions to ensure that they do not come back. And then they come back and you come and tell us that they need money to feed their children and pay school fees. And as a result of that is the reason why they are bad. Then why are you removing them in the first place? Because that argument you are making today still persists. So if that argument persists, what's the essence of the decongestion exercise? So for me, I think that there is some financial motivation and indeed corruption behind some of these decongestion exercises, because if not, there's no, where I sit, I don't see why I should.
That's continue. Very, very interesting. But engineering-wise, if you look at it, the decongestion beyond the corruption or beyond the avenue to use that to make some money, if you look at it architecturally and engineeringly, can they really decongest?
The fact of the matter is that the MMDs, they are the planning authority. So they have planners, they have engineers, they have fiscal planners, they have special planners, and all those people at the assemblies. The question is, what have they been doing? If you know that this market has been there for a certain number of time and the population is growing, as a development planning authority, what measures do you take? You see, what we do is that everything has become political in this country, so that when the development planner or the assembly wants to take a decision to make sure that certain areas become a no-go area, it becomes a political football where you have MPs interfering in the work of the assemblies to the extent that these are the people who voted for us. So if you want to remove them, you have challenges. It will affect our political party, it will affect our political fortunes. As a result, many of the assemblies are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. Because as the planning authority, you should be able to plan ahead 4 years, 5 years down the line. How is the city going to look like? You know, there is always a population growth. So there's also a percentage of population growth which has been occurring over the years, as we can get from the Ghana Statistical Service. So what do you use the Statistical Service data for? So for me, I think that the assemblies, I'm sorry to say, are becoming very lazy to the extent that they know that if they sit down and unconcerned and do not do anything, and even people say action should be taken, they go and take a certain action, which I always say is shadow boxing, and then at the end of the day, they will retreat because there will be political interference and all that. Right. Because once that people are not supposed to be in this space, immediately the first person, second person comes, you clear them. But you allow people to occupy the space fully, then you say you are going to decongest. And no political party or party in government will sit down for some of these things to happen. They will intercede or they will interfere in your activities. So the assemblies should be proactive. They should not allow us to get to a stage of decongestion. Right. Decongestion means that there is congestion. Where were you when the congestion started?
Question for the gods, but thank you so much, Dr. Fiadomo, for joining us. He is a local governance expert. You're watching JoyNews Desk. Now, lands at the Ghana Radio Astronomy Observatory belonging to the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission have shrunk from the original 163 acres to less than 30 acres due to encroachment. Now, speaking to JoyNews, Director of the Ghana Space Science and Technology Institute, Dr. Joseph Breman Tando says activities of people living around the observatory use equipment that emit radio frequency, which interferes with the faint signals from the space to study the universe.
Here we study deep space in terms of activities that are happening in our universe. So we measure masers, we measure pulses. What we mean is we have to understand what is happening in our deep space, because what happens in space definitely affects us. When there's a solar flare, it affects our climate here, it affects our GPS positioning system. One of the key problems we are having is with encroachment, because when we're talking about using radio astronomy, we are measuring faint signals from deep space. So when you have people living around and also using equipment that emits RF, like radio frequencies, it interferes with the signals that we receive, which affects the science. And beginning, I said this is a regional designated center. We do collaborative research with other laboratories in the world that have similar systems to study the universe. So people living around make it difficult for us to make measurements because you have interferences. Even here, we are not even allowed to use wireless because it interferes with the measurements. So we initially started with 163 acres. Currently, I'll tell you we have less than 30 acres. All the land has been encroached. The little that we have, we've been able to fence it. But even the ones that we fence, day by day, we still have people coming in and they break, we have to build, break, we have to build. And not only that, it's the science that is the interference that we're getting from the science. If this thing continues, it means that we have to abandon the science that we do here, which will be a great blow to us as a country, because we have collaborative partners who helped us to build this facility for other people also to use for their research. And most of the technologies that we're enjoying now emanated from astronomy. The Wi-Fi that we got, GPS, all these MRI, all those technologies came from radio astronomy. So we plead that policymakers help us to protect this facility. This is the only radio astronomy observatory that we have in Ghana, and we need to protect it.
Meanwhile, Director of Communication at GAEC, Nana Boateng, reaffirms the Commission's commitment to reclaim its land from illegal occupiers.
We're working very closely with the security agencies to support us with patrolling and warding off the illegal occupiers of the land. We'll continue to demolish, and we'll also continue to take it up legally in the law courts by suing some of them. Yeah.
Welcome back to JoyNews Desk. And on the Segleme housing project, the current minister has indicated that work will soon begin shortly. But engaging with a former sector minister, here's what he had to say about the Segleme housing project.
It coming at all. I thought that if there is the necessity to push me out of the government, the president should have what I call the bowels of mercy and call me. For one or two reasons, or by a sheer fact that I don't want to explain, you will no longer be part of my government. And it was very important to do so because at the end of the day, I've succeeded him. I've worked with him in his law firm, Cocobod, Prempe & Co. He knows me personally. So it was like a big shock. But at the end of the day, he was the president. And he decides who should come into his space. And I need to come to terms with that.
In politics, rumors as well exist, I've heard. Did you hear anything after you were removed? And what's the reason why you were removed? Did you hear anything at all, formally or informally?
What I heard, which was embarrassing, actually, but that somebody didn't want me to be there, that's all. It was pathetic. It was somebody who didn't have rational reasons why a member of parliament of Abuakwa South. I mean, not that I've dated myself, and a very serious loyalist of Akufo-Addo should be given such a shabby treatment. But it's water under the bridge. And let me tell you also, probably I'll be running away from this country, or I'll be somebody who is trying to run away from justice if I remain. So maybe God is good. And as they said in the Bible, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. For all I know, if I had made the full journey of 8 years with Akufo-Addo, I don't know where I would be. So I've taken it as some of the equations that only God can solve. And that's given me my sanity.
When you wake up today and you look back, do you have any regrets?
I don't have any regrets at all. One thing which makes me very happy that I showed competence, I showed decency, I showed leadership. And excuse me to say, this whole position of a minister didn't get into my head. There's nobody who came to me and found me obnoxious, cocky. I received people. I even cut down the waiting time of people. That I'll go to the reception all the time and say, oh, madam, your letter is not ready. Can you come tomorrow? Because I was a bit unhappy with situations in which somebody is in your waiting room for 3 hours. The individual has not prayed for 1 hour and got up and is coming to her. Who are you, Atta Akyea? The people who are sitting in your reception for 3 hours. Those kind of arrangements were, not too good. And I decided that let me serve people rather than being a lord over people.
This person who didn't want you to be there, do they know that you know?
Oh, he's aware. He's 100% aware what he did. And I leave it to God.
Have you spoken to him?
I've had moments of conversations with him, and he even came to my house to have a meal. My wife was there to serve him and the rest of it.
By this time, he knew that you knew about this?
Yes. I think maybe he realized the folly of trying to mess up another man. Yeah, but guess what? Some of these things, they have serious consequences. That if you believe that somebody should not be in this Joy FM space, and you use your cloud, whatever arrangement, to kick out that person, there are consequences because of the fact that this sowing and reaping principle will always catch up with everybody.
I'm fascinated by the fact that Dr. Bawumia belonged to that government. And surely there would not be a change in ministerial position or any other thing related to that government that he would not know. And so it's quite admirable that you still choose him as your option to lead this country. Why? I do not think he had power over ministerial appointments. I must be very honest with you. And people do not know the role that Dr. Bawumia was playing. A lot of people, who have very funny views because of their parochial interests, to always ascribe what he didn't have to him. At all. And I'm sure that if he had the choice, he would have maintained me. Yeah, because I worked with him on some lines, and he saw me that I was a competent person. So I do not believe that Dr. Bawumia had the power to be appointing ministers. Like somebody said, I was slated to become a minister for finance, but Dr. Bawumia stopped it. I found it very weird that person was saying that. He didn't have the clout at all. He was playing an advisory role. And guess what? Every advice will have a recipient of the advice. If the person decides that I will use the advice, fine. If the person says, I won't use the advice, that is the end of the matter. Is it what the party or the government decided to turn him into, or it's just like a texture of our laws that makes the vice president nearly doing almost nothing?
Brilliant. I thank you for what you said, because he's supposed to assist the president. What if the president should rebuff him? I don't need your assistance. What are you going to do? You could see, the tiff between President Rawlings and Vice President Accra. You saw it. It nearly became physical. So it is the president giving you the space to function as you ought, which matters. I've heard people who are so cruel that he was in charge of the economy. He wasn't in charge. The Galamsey housing project was a good idea. If you look at the facts, the contractor had a benefit of $200 million United States dollars, and it should deliver 5,000 housing units at Galamsey, and for the good people of Ghana. And unfortunately, the contractor could not even do half the project. There were no amenities for the project in terms of water connections and the rest of it. And I think about 90% of the money was blown. So when we came to power, we were surprised that what has happened. So we pulled the bank account from the Bank of Ghana and we realized that this is the state of affairs. And we needed to do a proper valuation of the work. So the valuation was done and we saw the defalcation. It was very serious. Over $100 million had been blown and we don't have the full benefit of the project. The president said we should bring the matter to the CID so that they go into the matter. Then we did that. What we were supposed to do thereafter was to find a credible private individual who will be able to complete the structures. And then, we'll be able to give it to the good people of Ghana. And that was the struggle that we're going through until
you were unable to get the private individual, or it was the pushback? Until
I left the ministry, or I was pushed out of the ministry. So that was my aim, that in terms of the Constitution, all the things that the previous government did, which are consequential for the benefit of Ghanaians, should be continued. Directive principle of state policy. I don't say that Kufuor did one hospital for every district. And when a district should have a hospital, it's good for the people, but there's a regime change. Therefore, I'm going to abandon all the projects. And then you see that a potential hospital will be at the mercy of the vagaries of the weather, and then it becomes useless.
This is JoyNews Desk. Please stay for business.
You're welcome back. It's time for business. I am Michelle Lejokum, and now to our stories. Now, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust has increased monthly pensions by an average of 10% for 2026. According to the Director General of SNIT, Kwesi Afrɛbaini, the current indexation, which is more than the current inflation of 5.4%, will maintain the long-term sustainability of the scheme and cushion pensioners. Here is more.
According to SNIT, all pensioners on its payroll as of December 31, 2025 will receive an average of 10% increase in their monthly pensions. Kwesi Afrɛbaini, Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, explained the rationale behind the decision.
At an inflation rate of 5.4, basically the real growth for each of those factoring in inflation is in excess of 5%. The new pensioners coming onto the payroll used to come in at 300 Ghana cedis. That has been increased to 400, another growth of 33%. In an era where inflation is at 5.4. Again, testament to our commitment to ensure that those at the lower end are as protected as much as possible to ensure sustainability. And it's in line with our strategy that we will keep ensuring that we will protect the value of the pensions that we pay out, having considered inflation and other variables.
Speaking at a brief ceremony in Accra, SNIT said the 2026 indexation rate was based on salary growth, projected inflation, and the fund's long-term sustainability. Additionally, existing pensioners will receive a minimum of 409 cedis per month. Mr. Afrɛbaini reaffirmed the trust's commitment to protect pensioners' investments.
The total assets under management in 2024, end year 2024, was a little about 20 billion. The total assets under management today is 25 billion. So we would keep investing, we will keep growing the fund, we will keep building a sustainable fund that ensures that the future of the Ghanaian worker is well protected. What I can assure you is that we will keep growing this fund. We will keep improving on pensioner welfare, and we would also ensure that as things improve, the benefits will be passed on to the pensioners because they are the very reason why we exist.
The highest earning SNITS pensioner, who received 201,792 cedis as of December 31, 2025, will now receive 213,991,000 cedis per month in 2026. SNITS estimates that over 7 billion cedis will be paid in pensions in 2026.
Now, the growing refusal by traders to accept Ghana coins is creating daily financial stress for revenue collectors and disrupting small transactions in local markets. Now, speaking in an interview at the Malata market, revenue collector NAIMOS Task Force says the rejection of coins by traders has made it difficult to spend legally issued currency, even though the same coins are passed back to government offices.
Since last year, I've been suffering with these coins, because they gave it to me, but if I buy something outside, they don't collect. Even if I change to the market sellers, they say they don't like it. It was a Malata market. Pure water people, those selling pure water at Malata, they don't collect. Those selling at Malata, they don't collect. But they give it to me. If they collect, they will give it to me and tell me that I'm working at the revenue office. So I'll send it to the bank. But if you send to the bank reject it back. They give us back these coins because it's Ghana money. But I will beg you that they should let them collect the money. Those that refuse to collect it, they should at least be punished or they should be arrested so that they will know that it's not being rejected. It's Ghana money that we are using. You see, something like this Maggi that they are selling, they should remove it 1-1, but they've tied it 1 cedi instead of the small Maggi, because we have 2 types of Maggi. They have the big one and they have the small one. They can sell that small one even 30 pesos, so that if the person collects these coins, that person knows that if he's going to market, he use 30 pesos to buy Maggi. But due to the market people, they've combined it 1 cedi. So if you go and you give them 20 pesos, they say they will not collect because there is nothing that they sell it 30 pesos or 80 pesos again. So I will beg them that they should talk to the market people too, that things that is lower should come to their lower level so that they can use the 20 pesos.
And that'll be all for business right here on JoyNews Desk. There's more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Michelle Lejekum. MFA.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Enjoy your holiday.
Enjoy your holiday.
Is it a holiday, though? Well, to wrap the bulletin for now, vehicle owners in the Ashanti region are expressing frustration over delays in the registration of new number plates. Some applicants say they have spent days at the regional office of the Driver and Vehicle License Authority, which you know as DVLA, after traveling long distances to go through the registration process. But the DVLA says the vehicle registration process is going on uninterrupted, with over 1,400 vehicles registered in 2026. Here is a report.
Al-Hassan, a car owner, says he traveled 36 kilometers from Accra to get his vehicle registered at the DVLA office in Kumasi, but he has yet to be attended to since last Friday. He's worried about the lack of information on the delay, highlighting the growing impatience of applicants waiting for the new vehicle registration.
Friday, since Friday when I arrived, I've not been able to get my number plate and I don't know what is going on. The embossment operators have also closed their shops.
But the Ashanti Regional Office of the DVLA has explained the delay in the rollout of the new vehicle number plate registration is due to incomplete legislative processes and not technical or network challenges. According to the regional manager, Jerry Edem Aflagbo, the vehicle registration remains uninterrupted. He explained 1,489 vehicle registration requests have already been initiated for 2026, with 459 completed, but some were delayed to incomplete biometric verification. Mr. Flabo says the office is fully prepared to roll out the new RFID-enabled number plate system once Parliament completes the required legislative process.
They were not able to amend the LI 2180. Now, if you watch carefully, because what we seek to do has to do with the features on the number plate. Change the features and the characters and the arrangement on the number plate. It was very important that the LI 2180, which has in it Regulation 10, which specifies what features to appear on the plate, had to be amended by Parliament. But that was late. It was supposed to take 21 days to mature in Parliament for it to become law. But unfortunately, it was only 8 days when Parliament went on recess. So, in view of that, we were not able to get the legal approval for that. And so the authority has not been able to roll out, as we announced earlier, that on the 2nd of January this year, we'll start with the new registration plate. However, we have said that those who cannot wait for the new plate can register their vehicles. And so currently we are maintaining the same features as we have, which have a suffix of 2026. And that's what we are using now.
Joseph Nsegos reports for Joy News.
Thank you for staying with us. That will be all for JoyNews Desk. I am Atta Akyea. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more.